Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. My name is Ross Benjamin, host of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel, and we're sponsored by Gamblers World. Great couple sites there, gamblersworld.com and gamblersworld.net. Check them out, folks. The .com is where you'll find all our videos. The .net is where 10 of the best handicappers in the country reside, including myself and these two geniuses I have with me. And I mean that with the utmost respect. Mr. Sean Higgs of winningfreepicks.com and gamblersworld.net, and Jesse Shule of jesseshule.com and gamblersworld.net. Folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. You're tuning in right now because you love sports betting. And the best part about it, 100% free, no strings attached, and there's no hidden agenda here. Okay, so if you're on your PC, there's a WC logo right there in the bottom right-hand corner of your video box. Click on that. And if you're on your mobile device, you'll see a black subscribe button. You can't miss it right underneath your video box. Click on that. You're all set to go. And I would just say, go one step further. Go into your YouTube settings. Hit that notification and alert bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. You'll be notified immediately upon any of our podcasts going up on this channel. All right, without further ado, let's start with Jesse. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, Ross. I guess we don't have to wait long for the kickoff of week 0, and of course, everybody's excited about that.
Mr. Higgs, how are you?
Been called a lot of things in my life. Never a genius. Thank you for the compliment.
In any event, we're going to be discussing college football today. We got 3 games on the agenda, all in week 1, all on Saturday, September the 2nd. I'll be covering Coastal Carolina at UCLA. Sean, Boise State and Washington, and Jesse will be taking a look at the Toledo Rockets and the Illinois Illini. Game played in Illinois, all Saturday the 2nd. Let's start with Sean. Boise State and Washington. It seems like these teams play every year. In the non-conference portion of the schedule, and if they don't, they play a lot in terms of a non-conference matchup. So Washington right now 14.5 and 59. Washington, a lot of high acclaim this year. It looked like a Pac-12 favorite along with USC. What do you got in this game, Sean?
Yeah, maybe a future Pac-12 or Pac-6 or Pac-18, depending how the conference goes. Boise probably headed to the new the conference. I like the over here. I like the over. Michael Penix, little big Penix energy out here in the Northwest. 11-2 last year, taking a 4-18 to 11-2. You know the guy's good. I mean, he was good back in Indiana. Health was always a problem. The offense, explosive. Even the Boise offense. Not bad. Quarterback took over last year. A lot better than how they started. They started out a little rough. They did lose to Fresno in the championship game. But either way, I like the offenses here for both teams. The defenses are the suspect part. I mean, Boise's going to give up. They don't have the answers for the Washington offense. So, I think Washington's going to put the points up. I was initially going to look at like the Washington here on the side because I like that. 14.5. I see that extra half. I want to run to the favorite. I just think a lot of hype here on them to battle USC for a championship. The defense was their weak spot, still kind of a weak spot, like most teams in college. Great offenses, questionable defenses. I think this one plays to 65-70. I think Washington's going to put up 40+, and I think we get at least 3 TDs out of Boise. So I like the over here. I like the sail over, actually. I think this is I'd say easy kind of stuff. Like we kind of frown on that in this spot, but I don't see how this isn't like a minimum 42-20 type game and probably 47-27.
So Sean likes Boise State and Washington over the total of 59, and he makes a compelling case for doing so. And Michael Penix Jr., boy, oh boy, Jesse, since he transferred over from Indiana last year, just a phenomenal year. He looked like the quarterback we witnessed early on in his career at Indiana, and then he regressed. But boy, he's a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate going into the season.
Certainly has the big Penix energy, guys. You got to say it right. Big Penix energy. So I haven't made a lot of friends in Gainesville of late. I'm probably not welcome to walk into a bar in Gainesville. Might not want to try my luck. Let's see if I can anger the fans of Boise. because I think the Broncos were a fraud last year. I'm going to just come right out and say it. They did go to the Mountain West Championship game, and they kind of got exposed by Fresno State. Fresno State was a big dog in that game. I had Fresno State. Boise had beaten Fresno State in the regular season prior to that game, but Hainer didn't play. And obviously Hainer, big difference for Fresno State. Boise ranked among the best in the country against the pass last year. But if you start to look at their schedule, they didn't face any quarterbacks. They really didn't face any offenses that can, drop 50 on you kind of thing. Like I said, the one time they played Fresno State, they didn't have to face Hainer, and the rest of those teams in the Mountain West aren't really lighting it up with the passing attack. So I think that Boise defense was greatly overrated. I don't like their chances of slowing down maybe the most dynamic passing offense in the country with Penix and all his top weapons back. And Washington's offensive line is supposed to be the one weakness on that team, and I don't think Boise is the team that's going to exploit that weakness. Maybe a bigger team like USC or Utah could exploit that, but I don't like Boise's chances. So I like Sean's over, but I just like it to be a blowout for Washington in that game.
Yeah, and Washington in that game, as a matter of fact, is a 14.5-point favorite. So Jesse really likes the Washington Huskies over the Boise State Broncos. But more importantly, our official pick from Sean Higgs is Washington and Boise State over the total of 59. Penix, where are you getting that from? What is that? Something I'm missing?
His name is Michael Penix. I believe it's pronounced Penix, and he wouldn't have he has the Twitter handle Big Penix Energy, right?
Oh, okay,
that's his Twitter handle. And it wouldn't make sense if it was Penix, right? Think about it. If it was Penix, Big Penix Energy doesn't really have that same ring to it as Big Penix Energy.
All right, whatever rings your bell, but I know in the broadcast over the last few years they've been calling him Penix. Maybe Big Penix is part of his Heisman campaign. Anyway, let's get to your game, Jesse. The Toledo Rockets, one of the favorites in the MAC. They're going to go travel to Illinois and take on the Illini. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time start on Saturday, September the 2nd. Right now, the Illinois Illini is a -9 home favorite, and the total in this contest is 46.5. Illinois coming off a resurgence last year, Jesse, and Toledo always seems to hold their own in these early season matchups against Power 5 conference teams. Not all the time, but I could recollect at least a few instances in recent years in which they have. What's your take on this game?
Well, Ross, I mean, Toledo is a pretty good team. Obviously, the MAC champions last year, they won their bowl game against Liberty. However, inconsistent. They throw out some stinkers from time to time. In a way, I wouldn't be surprised if Toledo wins this game outright. But the line sitting at 9, I got to go with Illinois here. Consistency. I like what Bielema has done with this team. I like the defense. Now, Illinois has lost a lot of talent. They lost Chase Brown to the NFL. They lost a quarterback, Tommy DeVito. The DeVito isn't a big concern for me. You got a guy coming in from Ole Miss, Luke Altmaier. I don't know too much about Altmaier, but I have faith that he can be at least what DeVito was for them last year. They did lose the defensive coordinator, replaced by Aaron Henry, a former player for Bielema at Wisconsin. And, I watched Illinois a lot last year. I bet on them a ton of times, and they did well for me. I liked what I saw from Bielema, the way his players were buying in. Yeah, they have a lot of turnover. I think the defense is still going to be pretty good. It's a home game for Illinois. They're still a Big Ten team. Bielema seems to have settled in a team where the pressure isn't quite as high as it would have been at Wisconsin. I think this is sort of his sweet spot. I think he's going to do big things, and I think that Illinois could be, a scrappy team again. And Toledo, like I say, at their best, they could win this game, but at their worst, they could lose it by 20. They did lose to Ohio State 77-21 last year. Of course, Illinois isn't Ohio State, but they are a Big Ten team that won 8 games last year. So, if it was 10 or more, I might look at the dog, but under 10, I'm taking Illinois.
Yeah, Ohio State's in a whole different class. And, that's one of those situations where Toledo didn't compete very well, but that was against one of the best teams in the country, especially at the time. Sean, the total is 46.5 in this game. Is that something that jumped out, especially when you're talking about Toledo? I don't recall a total in the 40s in a game involving Toledo. And I think that speaks more to what Jesse mentioned, Illinois' defense and their style of play.
Yeah, like I want to take Toledo here, but like I said, it's a 9.5, whatever it is. The Rockets, and this is a team that has a favorite 7, 8 double-digit favorite. They lose games outright that they're favored by 10 in, and it's just a weird club. Like you mentioned them last year to get like trucked in their 2 non-conference games. Like I want to take them because I kind of like these little MAC teams. Like you think you'd want to play up to a Big Ten. And the total, what is this total at? Are you telling me that Toledo's scoring no points? Like, and Illinois is not some juggernaut. This isn't, let's be honest. It's not like they're going to score 35 or something. You expect a low-scoring 17-14 kind of game, but I more lean on the Rockets. I just maybe that's just the dog in me, but like I haven't played this one as many as again. I got like 15 games or something. This one here, I'm torn. I'm like I want to take Toledo, but their track record says it's not going to be pretty here. But,
yeah, well,
I roll with Jesse. Jesse dive deep in here. I'm kind of biased towards. I got a little Toledo future for the Max. I think Illinois be down. They lost their defensive coordinator. That's
well, like I said, Sean, I wouldn't be completely surprised if Toledo wins this game outright.
Yeah.
And that's the way I kind of see it going. Either Toledo pulls off the upset, or even if it's a close game in the fourth quarter, Illinois they get a defensive touchdown, they win by 10 kind of thing.
Yep.
If Illinois' defense looks anything like it did last year, I think Toledo's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and the thing with this 46.5, like I said, I mean, I know that I said Toledo is very competitive in non-conference games, and yes, last year was an exception. But if you look beyond that, they have been. But it's good points by both of these gentlemen. But the 46.5, I got to believe the general public is going to look at this in a Toledo game and say, man, this is a gift. Let me go over the total. So with that being said, I have a small lean toward the under 46.5. It just looks like a really, really fishy total to me. All right, so now let me get to my game, and that's going to be Coastal Carolina at UCLA, and this is a really intriguing matchup on many fronts. Saturday, September 2nd, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, folks. This game will be televised nationally by ESPN. UCLA minus 14.5 and 64.5. Now, they opened at 14.5. They went up to 16, and then overnight, when I went to bed last night, this line was 16 because I was looking at this game late, and then it came down to 14.5 this morning. So a lot of things to unwrap here. Coastal Carolina was 9-4 a season ago, but they lost their last 3 games. However, Grayson McCall returns at quarterback, and this kid's the real deal. He's a legitimate NFL-type prospect, 6'3", 220 pounds. Last year, for example, 69.7% completion rate for 2,700 yards. Get this, 24 touchdown passes against only 2 INTs, and he also ran for 6 touchdowns. And keep in mind, he missed 2 games because of injuries. So far and away, this is going to be the toughest non-conference road game that Coastal Carolina has played in since opening the season in 2018 at South Carolina in a game that they were completely blown out. They have beaten Kansas twice, once in 2020, once in 2021, but that was a Jayhawks team that over those 2 seasons were 2-19. Last year, of course, we all know how Kansas turned things around, but that wasn't the case when they played Kansas in those 2 particular matchups. Chip Kelly got off to a really, really rough start at UCLA. Been on the hot seat for quite some time now. He has pointed the compass north over the last 2 years with his Bruins going 8-4 and 9-4. Here's the big concern for UCLA is on the offensive side of the ball. You lose quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who is now vying for the backup quarterback job in Cleveland, and your top running back, Zach Charbonneau. The defense does return 9 starters. Now, let me get into the subject about returning starters, and I'll try to make this as quick as possible. I know we had a comment on the NC State game yesterday, and Jesse, you chimed in on this. Let me tell you the difference how I look at returning starters compared to maybe others. I just don't look at the raw data of, in this particular instance, they're returning 9 starters on defense, UCLA, and 7 on offense. When you look at the returning starters production from the season ago, the defense ranks number 13 in the country in that category. Now, on offense, they returned 7 starters. You would think that'd be pretty good, right? Well, guess again. It's, their returning production rate, ranking, is number 88 nationally in college football, even though they're returning 7 starters. And a major part of that is the 2 losses I just mentioned, their quarterback and running back. So that takes away from your production return. Coastal Carolina, now new head coach, Tim Beck. He's the former OC ironically enough, at NC State. Their former head coach, Jamie Chadwell, a real head scratcher. I mean, he had a ton of success at Coastal. As a matter of fact, over the last 3 years under Chadwell, they went 31-7, and that includes they lost their last 3 games last year. So going into that point, they were 31-4. And here he is. He takes a lateral move and jumps and goes to Liberty, which was sort of a slap in the face to the Coastal Carolina program. I'm sure money had a lot to do with that decision. I don't have a real strong opinion on this, guys, but I'm going to go with UCLA here, minus the 14.5 over Coastal. I'm just going to say that because they're a Power 5 conference team and they're going to be more physical and they have more overall athleticism than Coastal, I think eventually what we see in a lot of these kind of matchups, and I think we'll see it here, is in the second half, UCLA will begin to wear this team down. And as far as a strong prediction, the thing that scares me about this prediction is the quarterback for Coastal. This kid could put a team on his back and keep this team in the game throughout. So anyway, Sean, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I got to say, I already have this on Gambler's World. I got Coastal at 16. And you lose your quarterback, your top running back, top wide receiver. It adds up. It's going to be slow out of the gate. And let's be honest, Chip Kelly, 6 years here. What have you done, Chip? The guy was supposed to revolutionize. Remember when he came in to the Eagles, oh my goodness, the first game, they're like, look at this craziness. Yeah, how'd that work out? The Coastal, they're going to be undersized, but this is a spot you're getting a decent number. Now it's come down. 14 I probably would have stayed away from, 14.5. But as I mentioned, quarterback, solid. The coach, I never like when a coach leaves and takes everybody with them, but it happens. I like the points. What am I going to say? Not a Chip Kelly guy. You lose that kind of production. Okay, it's UCLA, but when's UCLA been good? I mean, DRT's not there. New quarterback. Good luck.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, in Chip Kelly's defense, the last 2 years, the offense hasn't been the problem. It's been the defense. I mean, I think last year, you get beyond their non-conference schedule last year in the Pac-12 play, Jesse, and they were allowing in the 30s and 40s regularly in scoring within that range, too. So anyway, your thoughts, Jesse, on this contest?
Well, you got to have some big cojones to disagree with Sean Higgs, but I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to say that I'm going to go with Ross here. And one of the reasons being is I'm really high on Chadwell. And I think for Coastal, losing Chadwell is more significant than losing Charbonneau and DTR for UCLA. I didn't really like DTR. DTR was very productive at UCLA. I personally didn't like him. I think there's enough talent and the system that Chip Kelly has. I have faith that he can bring in a guy that can fit in that role. And as far as Charbonnet goes, I remember last year they had some depth at that position. Some of his success would be due to the offensive line. And as long as that is still intact, I like UCLA to pick up sort of right where they left off. And what Sean said about Chip Kelly, I sort of half agree. But let's face it, he was highly successful at Oregon, and he's sort of failed to get back to that. But he's on the verge. He's on the cusp of getting back to where he was at Oregon.
He was at Oregon like 15 years ago.
Yeah. They won an awful lot there, though.
Yeah, and they scored an awful lot, and they played much better defense than this UCLA team has played under his guidance. So if they can get things straightened out on the defensive side of the ball, I think they'll be okay. But again, this isn't a real strong.
They
lost the bowl game last year to Pitt, who had everybody sit out. The Pitt quarterback sits out because now he's where'd Clovis go? BYU. I mean. Yeah. Like, you lose to that. Come on. That's just bad.
No, it wasn't Pickett. It was somebody else.
No, Clovis. No, they lost to Pitt, but Clovis, I think, went to BYU. Yeah. Like, he sat out. He left. Yeah. And they lost to a bunch of backups. I mean, maybe they'll go to the defense, but also, how about the coach? When does it come down onto a little bit of coaching between Chip or the DC, whoever? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well,
bowl games have changed, though, Sean. I mean, nope. You know. They used to mean an awful lot, and now if you're a coach, what are you supposed to do when the players don't want to play anymore?
You're not playing for a national championship in a bowl game.
Your quarterback's in the NFL. Their quarterback opted out of a game and went to BYU, and they had a backup quarterback in there. The Pitt quarterback, he's not even starting this year. The guy who beat USC or UCLA last year is not playing for Pitt this year. They got the guy from BC's quarterback in the team.
Yeah. In a nutshell, for me, I'm
not a Chip Kelly guy, obviously.
Okay. Yeah. No, and that's understandable. I mean,
I didn't get my rant in today, Ross. So you're getting it now. Sorry, Jess.
But it's okay. That's okay. I mean, you're not going to get a big argument from me on that, and you're not going to get a big argument for you taking Coastal Carolina. I mean, I am using UCLA for the reasons I did. I'm also going to be very frank that it's not a strong opinion on my part. It's a game I assigned myself early in the week because it looked like an attractive matchup. And I'm not going to use this as a premium paid selection this game. So Jesse makes a good point too. And Chip Kelly, hey, the bottom line is like I said, the last 2 years, the problem hasn't been the offense. It's been the defense. And whenever Chip Kelly's style of play, where he wants to run as many plays as possible, it's let's go. Your defense is going to be on the field a lot with his style of play, and especially if they're not able to sustain drives for 2 or 3 drives in a row. So they're always going to be susceptible to giving up a lot of points. And the Oregon defense, as I recall, they gave up their fair share of points, but that version of Oregon, however many years he was there, their defense seemed to be a little more consistent than what we've seen with UCLA. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, Sean, tell the folks what you got coming up this weekend and how you've been doing of late, or anything else you want to prompt them in on.
Yeah, 2-0 yesterday with the Natties in the over there against the Yanks in baseball. So we had baseball. I got to play up today on the site for Major League Baseball here at Gamblers World. College football, I got a top play up for Saturday action. As I mentioned, 15 total college football up. There won't be 15 individual packages. There'll be 3 packs up there. But if you want to get a weekly pass or some kind of subscription, best way to go. NFL, I did go 1-1 in midday money with NFL picks yesterday. So not loving the final week here, but regular season, 9 games, 9 winners already up. So go get them. Gamblers World, we got you posted there. We got you covered.
GamblersWorld.net is where you'll find all the Chip. You got me going with Chip Kelly. Sean Higgs picks. And Sean, if you're not aware, folks, he gave out over 200 premium paid selections in NFL last year and hit 64%. So he's coming off a terrific season. Another guy who's been terrific, especially in the month of September in both college football and the NFL, Jesse Shule of GamblersWorld.net. Jesse, tell us everything.
I don't think you got time for everything, Ross, but let's see. Today I've got a diverse card because diversity is important, and I've got soccer, English Premier League. I've had a lot of success with soccer over the years. My soccer numbers are almost as good as Sean's NFL numbers. I don't know if that's exactly true, but it's in the neighborhood. I got CFL tonight, and I got one baseball play. I don't have any games for tomorrow's week 0 Saturday college football. I've got a free play up on Vanderbilt. I like it enough. It probably could have been a premium play, but I jumped the gun and put out an early free play, and I'm going to wait until next week to really dip my toes into the college football. I'm going to do it right. You know, I'm feeling a lot of pressure after starting 18-2 last year. You don't want to screw this up with some of these questionable games on the first day of the season. NFL, I've got a game of the year up, AFC North game of the year. Yeah, I mean, we're right where we want to be at the beginning of football season. So come and see us at gamblersworld.net. And you can see me at jesseshule.com.
I referred to these two guys as geniuses at the beginning of the show. And no, they're not going to land somebody on the moon. And they're certainly not going to.
I saw an article. The moon is made out of plasma, and you can't land on it. I don't know if that's true for you flat earthers out there.
Thank you for sharing that, Sean. In any event,
look at the comments going on that.
Yeah. Two great handicappers over at gamblersworld.net. You could also find me at gamblersworld.net, folks, since the inception of the site. Not to try to outdo anything, but numbers don't lie and liars don't figure. Number one in money earned at gamblersworld.net since the site's inception. But you know what? These guys on that site elevate my game. That's the way I look at it, because it's ultra competitive, and at any time those rankings can change. I hope they don't, for my sake, but a lot of great handicappers there, and 29-15 since August 5th at gamblersworld.net with all sports. 7-3 in the NFL preseason so far this year. I had another winner last night with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 24-0. I will have a winner in the on Saturday night too, as I got that up right now on Gamblers World in the NFL preseason. 7-3 this year, 25-13 since 2021, and 79-55 since 2010, which is good for 59% at gamblersworld.net. So there you have it, folks. Ross Benjamin, Sean Higgs, Jesse Shule, 7 other great handicappers, gamblersworld.net. Don't forget to subscribe. And Jesse, tell them what you want them to do with the like button.
Let me remind you, please take a second to smash that like button. And please offer your comments below the video.
So, folks, you know that's coming every show when Jesse's on. I would recommend that all of you wear earplugs that haven't heard it before, because we don't want to damage your hearing, because then you won't come back and listen to what we have to say in any event. Until the next time, which will be Monday, I'll be back with Doug Upstone. We'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very, very best this coming weekend. Take care and God bless, folks.